Today, we're going to dig into the system a little bit more. This is video number 2 of 4. We're going to dig into steps 1 and 2 of our DubLi business system. Obviously, here's the flow we talked about in the introductory video. If you hadn't had a chance to watch that, please do. It's important to understand kind of the psychology behind this, to understand why we do different things we're talking about in here. But this video today, we're focusing on steps 1 and 2, prospecting and approach. So let's go ahead and dig in. Step 1 is prospecting. The purpose of prospecting is to organize and continually cultivate all of your resources to identify potential leaders and customers. Pretty simple. This is the group you're going to build your business from. Now, what we've found is most people in marketing today who aren't experiencing the level of success they desire usually don't lack for a good presentation or a timely concept. What they're usually missing are qualified prospects to get in front of on a consistent basis. See, we believe relationship marketing has proven to be the most effective way to get a message or product out to market, where you have a warm market relationship with a person you're going out and seeing. See, there's two main areas that make up someone's prospect list in step 1. The first one's your warm market. Now, your warm market consists of all the people that you know or associate with, including your friends, your neighbors, your relatives, coworkers, and business contacts. It's just people you know, and we have some great tools, obviously, to expand that list. The second one is networking and develop new business contacts, where you go out there and actually turn strangers into friends, and through personal contact, referral, and other social media outlets, add to that list. It can expand your sphere of people that you know. So you have the ones you know already and the ones that we're going to meet along the way. So your prospect list is kind of where everything starts. It's kind of your list of raw materials to go out and build your business. But you need to look at the prospect list not just as a list, but as people and families who can greatly benefit from the DubLi network opportunity, or worst case, become a VIP customer and save a lot of money. I ask a lot of our leaders, have you ever told a new BA to go out and make a list? Well, that's the wrong thing to do. You need to make making a list an adventure. You need to sit down with the new BA and their spouse and just take the time to go through the memory jogger sheet together and get as many names as possible. You'll find when you have husband and wife together, they'll compete for more names. They synergize a little bit. It's also a great way to build a relationship with them. Some of my funniest moments with new families in the business have been in doing that prospect list together with them. So it's very, very exciting. It's a fun time. Don't miss out on that opportunity. And today, you can also use social media to help expand your list. To me, it's a great way to reconnect people from the past. It's a great opportunity to meet new people as well, but mostly to reconnect people from the past. I know a lot of people in our industry have used Facebook as a tool to connect with people they just lost track of. And you'll see in the DubLi Business System manual, we actually show you exactly how to reconnect in a very non-intrusive way, where you go in and set your Facebook and Google Plus pages up, you put in your clubs, your interests, your former jobs, your former education, and all of a sudden recommendations start coming in. And I see people reconnect with elementary school classmates, prep school classmates, university classmates. It's amazing what can happen through social media. And then you want to be real careful, of course, how you approach them. We'll talk more about that in the approach step. But understand, social media is a great way to remind you of who you used to know and reconnect with a lot of people you knew from the past. Then there's networking to develop new prospects. You have personal contact, where you go out and use the FORM method, which stands for family, occupation, recreation, and money. That's the easiest 4 things to talk to someone about in this business. Or it can also be family, occupation, recreation, or message. Leave a message at the end. People talk about their family, their job, what they do for a living. So if you're meeting people in lines at a store, you just kind of say, hey, you from around here? Oh yeah, do you have family? Great. They're just easy ways to get a little conversation going. And again, don't attack people on the first time. Just kind of warm them up. You want to kind of turn strangers into friends. We have a thing called friendship farming. It's something I did a lot early in my career when I was in the field. I'd go out to some of these little shopping centers during the day, and when I was full-time, and walk into different businesses, and they'd ask, can I help you? And I'd say, well, no, not really right now. I'm just kind of looking, it's a nice store. Are you the owner? And they'll say yes or no, and say, that's great. I love what you're doing. Well, I can't stay long, but anyway, it's good seeing you. I'll talk to you later. Get their business card on the way out. You write down the name of the store and their name. Just kind of shake their hand before you go. Mentioning nothing about DubLi or DubLi.com. And I'd wait a couple days, and I'd call them back and say, hey, listen, this is John. I met you the other day. We got to talking about your son's soccer team. Oh, yeah, how you doing? Good. Say, listen, I haven't been able to get you off my mind since I left. I'm looking for some really sharp people to help expand our business here in the area. I don't like running ads because you never know what type of person is going to respond to an ad. and I was wondering if I could come by and drop something off, or I could send you an email, kind of show what we're doing, and see if you know someone that might be interested in what I'm doing, because I need some sharp people. They're going to say, sure. And then, of course, then you send an email with one of the links to a webinar, to one of our videos, and just kind of get them intrigued and kind of flow them into the system from there. But it's a great way to turn strangers into friends. And to show you how that can work, kind of eliminate all your excuses here, if I went out in 4 or 5 hours, I could usually pick up 30, 40, 50 business cards easily. Let's say I had 50 cards and I was really bad. And let's say only half of them agreed to let me send them an email. That'd be 25. And if I was really bad, now to 20 people I emailed, I only ended up recruiting one. That's one recruit for every day I went out and did some friendship farming. If I did that 5 days a week for a month, that's 20 personal recruits. And that's with some bad numbers. So it shows you real quick how you put a great message like we have at DubLi Network and DubLi.com to some high numbers that can really take off. The other way is referrals. I mean, you'll see in the DubLi business manual that we actually have a systematic approach at getting referrals. We have the scripts in there you need to make sure you're getting referrals at every process in the whole 6 steps. So make sure you use those and always get referrals. People love, it's not coming to business to get referrals. It's a very exciting experience shopping with DubLi.com, and they want their friends to have the chance to hear about it as well. And it's a great way to continue to build your list and make it really grow. So as we finish out prospecting here, and again, you want more details in the manual, what we challenge you to do is execute these prospecting methods properly, and you'll never need to consider buying leads or working a cold market ever again. Of course, the success chances go way, way down. Relationship marketing is the way to go. It's the way to go out there and build a successful team who can duplicate themselves, and then you're on your way to building a huge, huge organization. So excited about that, and just think you guys ought to make sure you master prospecting. It's one thing I think it's overlooked. Sit with the husband and wife together, make the list. Always be out there when you're out and about just talking to people. Don't say too much, but get them intrigued about the opportunity, and use some of the techniques you'll see in the manual where it goes into a lot more detail of exactly what to say. Now let's go into step 2 approach. Now step 2 approach is a little bit more tough, because what you're going to find out is the purpose of the approach is to effectively approach a prospect to set an appointment to attend a presentation at the office, one-on-one or online, in the next 24 to 48 hours. But herein lies the problem. 90% of the failure in this business takes place in the approach. That's a pretty big number. And to go back to our submarine example, back before submarines were fire and forget, and before you actually had to aim them and actually shoot at a ship, the most difficult shot in submarine warfare is what they call destroyer. Bow on, bone in its teeth. And of course, destroyers were hard to hit. They had a very narrow hull because they were designed to sink subs, so they were narrow on purpose. Bow on means it's heading right toward you, and bone in its teeth, this wake is coming up in the front. It means it's headed right for you, and you got a problem. Matter of fact, as a submariner, if you looked at the scope and saw this, you have big issues, because destroyers are out to sink subs. This one's coming right at you, and obviously you can see into the periscope, so you're too shallow. You have a big problem. Now imagine the captain looking through the scope, and he sees this. And as he looks up there, he sees, there it is, enemy destroyer, bow on, bone in its teeth. Would he at this moment say, you know what, this would be a great learning opportunity for someone? Who's the least qualified seaman on the boat? They say, well, it's seaman so-and-so down the galley. Well, go get him. And they bring up this little young seaman and they say, son, look to the scope. And he looks to the scope and he sees this and says, that's a destroyer, son. It's coming to kill us. Here's what we want you to do. We want to give you a chance to learn here. You take care of that destroyer. We're going to go downstairs and get a sandwich. Come down and let us know how it works out when you're done. Would the captain even consider that for a second? Absolutely not. Why? Well, the sub's going to be sunk. It's going to be a mess. Have you ever done that? Well, you do if you told someone to go out and get someone to the next meeting. You're taking our newest BA, who knows nothing about the business, has no experience, and you're giving him the most difficult shot where 90% of the failure takes place, and that's in the contact, and you tell him to take care of it. And what happens? You blow him right out of the business. And you wonder why no one comes to the meeting. It's because you put the toughest job in the hands of the newest person. You can't do that. So, if 90% of the failure takes place in the contact, the good news is there's only 2 reasons. And this kind of narrows it down now to solve the problem. The first one is they either do it wrong, they say too much, they don't say the right things, or they don't do it. Now, why would someone not do the approach? They're in the business. Well, usually it's for lack of confidence. They're scared. They just are afraid of what's going to happen. So how can we get people over these two things? They don't know how to do it and they're afraid to do it. How can we solve the problem? How do pilots become great at flying in bad weather? Do they say, hey, look, there's a storm. Take off. Go fly in it. Let's see how you do. Well, no. It's a multi-million-dollar aircraft and there's lives at stake. They have a thing called a simulator. And the simulator to me is the ultimate video game. You can see it sits up on these big scissor type things. It'll go left, it'll right, it'll jump up and down. The actual simulators sometimes cost more money than the actual planes themselves. It's exactly like flying the airplane. From the inside, you look out, it's like looking out of an airplane. They can simulate any condition inside a simulator. I had a chance to fly a few years ago in a C-130 simulator, and it was so much fun. We did it with a bunch of Boy Scouts, and the Boy Scouts would get in there, and they thought it was fun. And when they landed hard. We got thrown from our seats. You had to wear your seatbelt. I mean, it's very real to life. It was my turn. I was second to last to go, and I landed it fairly well because I'd flown a little bit growing up. I bounced it a couple times, but I did okay. But then the guy who got us there that day was a B-1 fighter pilot friend of mine, and he actually got in there. It was his turn to land. Now you see this computer screen here to the left. That's the guy that actually controls the simulation. And he asked Don, he says, Don, do you mind if I mess with you a little bit? And Don's like, nah, go ahead, do whatever you want to do. And I hear him on the keyboard. It took like a minute. And he's like, you're ready. And Don looked over at me and says, tighten your seatbelt because we're in for a ride. And I said, oh boy, here we go. Tighten the seatbelt. The guy said, you ready? I said, yes. You hit the enter button, and all of a sudden, the plane is all over the place, up and down, left and right. There's lightning out the windscreen. You can't see. It's a terrible storm. There's rain lashing on the windows. I mean, this thing was in bad situation. And it's the roughest airplane ride I've ever been in. As we're slowly coming down this runway to land at an airport. And as we came down, he asked him, what's the ceiling? Meaning, at which point will I break through the clouds? And the guy told him 100 feet. So that means not until he got 100 feet off the deck would he be actually able to see anything. But as soon as he broke through the clouds, the control tower was right in front of us. And the reason was the guy had taken the instrument landing system, or the ILS, and he'd kind of thrown it off by several hundred yards. And so I thought, oh man, I'm going to crash in this tower, this is going to hurt, right? But Don, smooth as silk, rudder pedals, slides it over, lands it right in the runway, we land. Why was he so good? Thousands of hours in a simulator. What you want to do, since 90% of failure takes place in the approach, is you want to create a simulator for your leaders. Now, it's not as complex as this graphic shows. Really, a simulator for us is 3 people in DubLi Network on the phone or on Skype. And you take turns playing the role of leader, new BA, and prospect. And at first, obviously, the leader's doing their role, whether it be the contact or the 3-way phone call or whatever you try to practice. Someone's being the new BA doing his part, and the prospect starts out being real nice. But as you keep going through the exercise and you switch roles, then you start getting tougher. You become that prospect that wants to know more before you'll come to a meeting. And you keep working and you keep working. So you guys spend, I don't say hours. I think it maybe take an hour, hour and a half of practice inside one of these. But pretty soon, you can overcome every objection. You handle everything. It's automatic. You don't have to even think about it anymore. It's like the pilots don't have to think about it. And all of a sudden, the 3 of you have become highly trained. And now you have the know-how and the confidence to go out there and actually contact. I remember when I first was building a field team, we had a good crowd going, a couple hundred people in the room. We had a training session one night with everyone live. We put chairs back to back to back, 3 chairs, and we did simulator training. And we had them practice. Then we did the kind of an approach script over the phone. It wasn't so much a video drop like it is nowadays where you actually send a video link out or a webinar link. We didn't have that kind of technology back then. And I remember just being horrified that night by how bad the responses were of some of my leaders in overcoming objections. So we did that simulator training for weeks and weeks and weeks until we had everybody in the room proficient at knowing how to do the contact, at the same time having the confidence to do it right. It'll make a dramatic difference in your career. Now, there's 2 proven methods to go out there and approach people. The first one's the video approach. It's the easiest one. It's the one I highly recommend. A lot of people just want to call their friends up. There's a personal phone invitation as well. Now, I won't go into the personal phone invitation here for time. You can read all about it in the DubLi Business System manual. But here, we're going to talk to you about the video approach. Now, the video approach is pretty simple. You can't fail. How complicated is it? You send them an email or a message through social media like Facebook or Google, whatever. It's that simple. So basically, identify your prospects, you send them an email, and it says something like this. Dear Bob, I just want to message you about a new business that I've just gotten involved in. The content is simple yet powerful. What if you get up to 30% cash back on the things you already buy every day? Doesn't matter if it's clothes, travel, gasoline, or whatever else you buy. Then there's an opportunity for both of us to make money helping others do the same and finally start making money from the internet. What message could be more powerful in this day and age? There's a lot more to it than that, but take a look at this link. And here's where you'd insert a link to a contact video, one of the approved videos, or to a webinar you'd like to use of your leader or your one if you do your own webinars. And I will get back to you in the next 24 to 48 hours unless you get back to me first. I look forward to talking with you soon. Your name. You send the message. Bam, it's gone. Okay? Then we're going to do a three-way phone call follow-up. And this is important because in a three-way phone call, the friends of the BA, they trust him. They like him. He's a good guy. But they're also not sure he's the guy that can show them how to make a lot of money. Okay? That's where the leader comes in. The leader brings in the credibility. So the purpose of the three-way phone call then is to get the leader and the BA together to contact that invited guest and get them all on the phone to take the next step to actually attend a presentation, either in a group setting, one-on-one, or online. So it goes something like this. The upline leader actually makes the call. The BA can relax. He has a little bit to say in the middle, but nothing much. Said, hey, hello, Bob. This is John. I'm a vice president with DubLi Network, and I'm working with Sally, and she's one of our top up-and-coming leaders here in the area. When I asked Sally who were some of the most ambitious people that she knew, your name was on top of the list. I know Sally sent you a link to look at it. Did you get a chance to watch it? Now, two responses, pretty simple. If they said, no, I haven't looked at it yet, say no problem. But this company is helping many families around the world make and save a lot of money. I encourage you to watch the video the next couple days, and we'll call you back in a few days. Fair enough? Great, fair enough. I love the word fair enough because no one's going to say, no, that's not fair. If they said, yes, they did watch it, say, great. Well, Sally and I are really excited about this. DubLi Network is doing fabulous things to help people save money and has the greatest income potential of any opportunity I've ever seen. You're not going to believe what a dynamic team Sally is building. At the rate she's going, she's earning a second income of more. She'll be earning a second income of more than they're making at her full-time job over the next 6 months. Now, Sally's here with me now, and she wants to say hello. So now Sally gets on the phone, and she says to the new prospect, hey, Bob, I've never seen anything like this. The income potential here is truly amazing, and if I can do it, you can too. I'm going to give you back to John. John's a really good person that can really help us make some serious money while helping others. Then the leader either invites him out to a group meeting, a webinar, or a one-on-one invitation, depending on the type of meeting you're inviting them to. So we're going to go through the group meeting invitation. You can go in the manual and look for the one for the webinar invitation or for the one-on-one. They're very simple, but here's the group meeting one. It goes like this. Bob, I'm sure you want to learn how to increase your income over the next few months, or worst case, learn how you can save a lot of money on things you buy every day. You need to do your best to rearrange your schedule to give an hour or so to check this out. We're doing a meeting at this hotel or this office on either Tuesday or Thursday night. Which of those 2 nights is best for you? Great. Sally will come by your home around 6:30 to pick you up, or you can just follow them down to the meeting. Look forward to meeting you on Tuesday night. Have a good night. Goodbye. Real simple, real straightforward. If any objections come up during this time, see, I found that usually objections are really just a request for more information. Unfortunately, we really don't want to go into a lot of detail in the approach. Remember we mentioned in the video earlier about, actually the introductory video, about the different steps of the system and how you don't want to say too much in the approach. That's the problem. If you say too much, their curiosity might get satisfied. You might say the wrong things. The purpose of the presentation is step 3. However, there's some good ways you can overcome objections. The best way is to answer a question with a question. For example, if they say, is this sales? Just say, why? Do you like sales? If they say no, just say, great, you're going to love this. If they say, yes, they like sales, say, great, you're going to love this. You just want to move them past that a little bit. They might say, well, hey, is this network marketing? And say, why? Do you like network marketing? No? Well, great. You're going to love this. Say, yes? Great. You're going to love this because it's true. This is truly a unique business model we have. It's a hybrid of many different types of industries out there, all brought together under one roof. It's very, very exciting. Now, let's look at social media contacting real quick. This one's real simple. I believe that most people out there today over and abuse social media contacting. You'll see in the manual we talk about a soft way to do it. Because once you've reconnected with these friends from school or from past jobs, they're going to ask you, You're going to ask them, hey, what are you up to nowadays? And they'll tell you, and they'll say, what are you up to? And it's a great chance for you to lightly say, oh man, I'm working with a company that's doing some great stuff, help people save money, and man, the money's ridiculous, and I'm excited about it. Something real short and brief, and they're going to say, well, tell me more about it. Say, well, tell you what, let me send you an email, let me send you a link to a webinar, let me send you a brochure. So in natural conversation, it's real easy to contact these social media sites. So look in the manual for those scripts. Take advantage of social media on how to approach people, but again, do it the right way. Don't blow them out. Facebook's all about being social, and you don't want to make that a business site, but there are ways of doing it that are acceptable and very mainstream. You can also go to our DubLi Network Facebook page, and we have one for DubLi.com as well, and you'll see in there a lot of great tools you can use to do what I call a subtle approach. We have these things called memes, and you've seen them all the time. They're kind of funny, little pictures like this one here. Fire your boss, join DubLi.com. And there's Dubot drawing a mustache on his boss. And you go on at the bottom down here, and in this little red circle, you click like, and then you click share, and that posts on your timeline. So your friends see a little funny ad, and the next day you might put one out about DubLi. Before you buy, DubLi it. Save up to 30% today. Now that would get my curiosity. Again, hit share. It shows up on your wall. Here's what we did called Think Big with the dog. This one was very, very popular. People loved to think big. So it's just little fun things, and eventually your friends will say, hey, I noticed you're putting up these DubLi Network and DubLi memes. What is that all about? Tell me more about it. And again, it gets them thinking about it without being too much in their face. So as we close out this video today, just remember, since 90% of the failures in the approach, proper execution of these contacting and training methods will minimize failure and dramatically increase your results. You want to control the point of contact. You want to have drill for skill sessions in the simulator where your leaders know how to go out and approach, they have the confidence to do it right, and you can go out there and build a huge business. If you'll control the approach and do a good job on the prospecting list, you're almost all the way there into building a great team, and exciting things will happen. Now, in the next video, we're going to focus in on steps 3 and 4, so be sure to watch that. Appreciate you being on today, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Hey, become a student of this system. It's amazing. You run the system will run your business.